Assalamu alaikum everybody, welcome back to Speak with Ahmed. So in today's video we are going to talk about why is this the case that many students, many children after spending so much time and energy on practicing English, they still fail to speak, right? And throughout the period of learning they did not notice any substantial improvement, right? They may know some vocabulary now, they may know some grammar rules, but speaking or even writing seems impossible. So the question is, how do we fix this problem? I think there are two critical points here. Two things that you should always consider as a teacher, as a parent. You should always take note whether the student is practicing incorporating these two things. First thing is context. Context, you can say, is basically the background of what they're reading or what they're listening to, right? For example, the opposite of learning with context is basically isolation of some piece of text. Let me give you an example. If you had a book, a novel or some book, right, and you picked some vocabulary, some words or phrases out of that book, then you assign your student to learn these phrases and vocabulary. What you're doing is basically removing the context, right? They don't know where the words come from, they didn't know the previous knowledge of this piece of text, so their brain won't be able to comprehend what it's all about. Okay, so what you have to do is always pick resources, videos, text, whatever you're using. Always pick something that is interesting to the student. If the student is not interested in what they're reading or what they're watching, the learning process will become very, very difficult. Okay, because human brains need some background, some information behind what they're what they're trying to learn, the gap of information. Okay, to create this gap you have to give them something. They should know something about what they're reading and they then try to learn more of it. Okay, that is basically the most effective and it has always worked. Now the second thing that you need to consider is emotion, right? Emotion means, well, context automatically builds emotion, right? So emotion is basically they should like, right? They should find interesting, basically. They should like what they are learning. If they are getting bored or they're losing focus, then it's not going to work. Learning is only possible if you are willingly, right, trying to learn it, trying to understand it. So this is another important point that you need to pay attention to. Always pick resources that kids want to learn, want to read, right? Let me give an example. If your student or let's say your child is interested in certain, like they have certain hobbies, right? Some may like to play cricket, some may like to watch movies or play video games. So find content, find books, find articles, find other resources related to the topic, related to the subject they find interesting. Okay, let's say a 10-year-old kid wants to, let's say, likes to watch cricket on TV. You can give them books or articles or have them to watch commentary, right? Commentary is a great way to learn English, right? So because they are interested in the game, in the sport, they would automatically want to know more about it, right? So this is basically the science. Let me summarize it for you for once. First is context, the background of what they're reading. Don't isolate words, don't choose things and have them to read it or memorize it. That's not how it works. Second thing, emotion. Emotion means they should like what they're reading or what they're watching, right? If the practice is boring, the learning is quite like pretty much impossible, right? They should be interested, they should find it, it should be likable for them, and they should find some relevance in what they are learning. So I think I would end it here. See you next time.